So we already know what happened after Keyshawn Davis's older brother, Kelvin Davis. He got beat up in the ring by Nahir Albright, the same dude that gave Keyshawn Davis problem down at 135, right? And afterwards, after he put the bigs on the pea pops, the fruit flops, the ping pong pigs, whatever you want to call it, after he beat up Kelvin Davis, Keon Davis and Keyshawn Davis decided to go to the locker room and scrap it out with him and whatever. Got into a semi-brawl, ended up putting a knot on Nahir Albright's head. Keyshawn Davis' son was in the stroller, Now, a lot of channels are saying this is like the DB3 brothers are pretty much a product of a single parent household. Like the mother, they're highly emotional. The mother is the one that raised them, and the father was absent. I had some things to really say about that, yo. Look, I can't buy into that excuse, bro. It's not like here's the thing. That is part of the problem with some people. That's not always the case. But it does play a factor in it. But I can't buy into that all the time, bro. I don't make excuses for that because there's a lot of strong mothers out there that manage to raise boys, and I'm like one of the examples of that. My dad wasn't like he didn't abandon me and stuff like that. He didn't abandon me. He was around, but he had his own thing going on. He had another relationship going on and stuff. But he didn't live in a household. I never lived in a household with my father and my mom. Like, kind of like the way it's supposed to be. You got the female, the woman, the wife, and then you got the husband, then you got the kids under the household. I never experienced anything like that. Me or my brothers, right? So my mom was taking care of us. She was the one that was, put a roof over our head, fed us, stuff like that, doing what mothers do, man, But she instilled good values in us. Not just my mom, my grandmother too. She put good values in me and made sure I stayed on track. I did the right thing. And I was around, there was hostility. Brooklyn wasn't easy. It wasn't all bad. I was around certain things that a lot of people, would never probably experience, I got into a little bit. I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't really in the streets like that. I'm a street smart person, but I wasn't in the streets. You know what I mean? I did some things that I don't want to talk about, but I was really book smart. I still am. But my little brother, he had some issues, he ended up getting shot, stuff like that. But for the most part, like, my mom did the best she could. She raised us good. We weren't out there starting trouble with nobody, robbing people. Now, that's one thing. We as humans, we're all emotional. If we sit up there and lie and say we're not emotional, it's bullshit. Even men. Everybody got emotions, man. Women, man. It's just how you control them. You got to learn how to control your emotions. That's the thing. Everybody has emotions. You just got to know how to control them. And Keyshawn Davis and his brothers, they don't know how to control their emotions. And that's what's going to get them in a lot of trouble. In a situation like that, this is where emotions come into play. If I see my little brother get in the ring and he got beat up in a fight, it's vice versa. If it was me, he wouldn't have took it there. Because, it's a fight. We boxing. It's not a real fight. It's not a real fight. In a real fight, all bets is off, though. It was a street fight, but this wasn't a street fight. Keyshawn and his brother was treating this like it was a street fight. This was not a street fight. This was a sanctioned boxing match. Come on, man. And I just don't like it when people kind of like put it on the mothers all the time. I don't really be liking that because I am one of the examples of how that's bullshit sometimes. Sometimes, your father might die. What if you don't have a father because he died? You know what I mean? Or anything could happen. It's not always going to be a father around, man. So we can't always latch on to this excuse every time a father not in the house and the kids act up. It's because the father ain't there. That's not always the case. Sometimes it is. It's good to have a man there to, especially if it's boys. A son do need his father around for sure to guide him and stuff like that. But here's the thing. It's not that what if you got a household where you do got your father around, but your father ain't a fucking good father. Nobody never talks about that either. Like, you got a father in the household, but what if he's not a good role model? What if he's out there doing dumb shit too? And then you pick up on it, and then you think it's okay to do dumb shit, and you go out in the streets and do it. So we can't always like blame it on the mom and stuff like that. A lot of the times, the mothers be trying to play two roles, and that you can't. And a lot of times you hear them say, I'm the father, you can't be the father. It's impossible. You can only be the mother. And the father, he just happened to not be there, then yeah, that's fucked up. But there's different circumstances leading up to why the father may not be there. It's not always the father running out on his kid, And then, like I just said, there's times the father is there, he ain't much of a fucking role model. You know what I'm saying? So, my dad, he was in my life, but I just never spent much time with my dad because he was out there, doing shit. So it is what it is. I didn't turn that into like, oh shit, my father not around, so I'm gonna go out in the streets and do stupid shit. I didn't do that because I had my mom and my grandma to keep me on the right path. You see what I mean? I still had I still had guardians to watch over me. My brother still had guardians to watch over. My sisters still had somebody around to watch over them. You see what I mean? So now I look back at it and look at how my sisters turned out. My little brother, he had a little rocky past and stuff, but he turned out great, and I turned out good. So that's a myth sometimes. Like, the father don't always have to fucking be there, at all. So when you do that, when you kind of like say, when you kind of like do that, you kind of solely put that on the moms, like blame the mother, kind of takes away from what the mother does for, that's rather impressive when you think about it. When the father, father plays a major role in a kid's life and he's not around, or he just abandoned his kids or whatever, and then the mom take over and the kids turn out okay or even really good, that is remarkable. That's amazing. So that's why I always I tell my mom, you did the best you could. You did good. I always tell her that when I talk to her, like, you did good with us. You did good. We had our little issues, street issues or whatever the case is, but we lived through it. We all here. And we thankful for you. So I always tell her that, so just had to throw that out there. But these DB3 brothers, could they be a product of not having their dad in their life? Possibly. Because a lot of times sons are automatically close to their mothers anyway. But when there's no father figure around, there are times where the father not around and he's there as an authoritative figure and there's no real authority there. And it could cause the sons to feel like they the fathers and they can do whatever they want. There's no consequences to their actions or nobody to guide them the right way in the streets. I seen it happen too with some of my friends growing up, and I seen it happen. I see the consequences of that. Some of them not here no more. Some of them doing 30 to life. So that while that is a thing, that is not always the case. And sometimes we got to clarify that when we say that, because what happens is it kind of like make the mothers look bad and don't give them the credit for what they actually tried to do or what they did. You know what I'm saying? But just my take. It's Rebel Like Boxing. I'll catch y'all later.